Phil Facts here, y'all. It's a sports snob. Snobby sports in effect. Peace and love to all my fellow sports fans. This one is geared towards everything, but I'm going to use boxing because it's just rampaging through boxing. And that's racism in sports, man. And how we all are doing it. We all participating. We're being forced and we're being fed this, but we are participating in racist perspectives, racist positions, and racist comments. And it's getting annoying. Because as a mixed race person, it's whack to me. As someone who standing on I'm not on the outside, I'm actually on the inside on both of my sides. And because I see it happen on both sides. And then in the broad spectrum of things it's even more magnified to me how crazy the world is and how much we've been trained to look at things in a racial perspective. Even if you don't want to deal with it, it still deals with you. So I just want to talk about it, y'all. And the main thing that I can use right now that makes this relevant and helps so you guys can identify with what I mean for anyone on either side or every side is this ESPN pound for pound list. It's history, and the fact as of today, October 22nd, 2020, that shit is officially bogus. It is officially bogus, and it is officially geared on some racial, and it's geared on some, how do I say, financial interest for UPS. I mean UPS. Yes, I'm gonna leave that one on there, y'all. That was funny. For ESPN. Right. Like whatever financial gains they have and whatever type of ties they have to certain fighters, financial gains off of fighters and ties with fighters. Excuse me, y'all. Let me light this blunt. It shows in their pound for pound list. Now, there's a couple of other situations that boxing is participating in racism. And I'm gonna just show you, like my black dudes, you're not guilt free because y'all doing it with Devin Haney. I gotta be honest, Fanon and BFTB boxing are the only ones who explain their position and give you their reasoning, and it's more respectable because they clearly are stating that they are supporting black fighters purposely because of the fact that the racism is so rampant. But they both still support Hispanic fighters, whether they're Mexican or Puerto Rican or Ecuadorian or whatever. So that being said, I don't want, if word gets out to those gentlemen, I'm not afraid of nothing straight up, but I'm just saying that I respect what they do. I follow them for a reason, and I don't want them to think that I'm accusing them of what I am saying now, because they're, like I said, the main two who usually their opinion doesn't come off that way. Speaking for someone who is not only black but Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican. And I'm from New York City, where there's a vibrant population of Puerto Ricans, and we've been there since the 50s and before. All right? My grandfather fought in the Korean War, my Puerto Rican grandfather. And Puerto Ricans are really black. And it's not only because of New York, but if you look at us, if you went to our island, we have every shade of black all the way down to getting lighter, just like black people. We have people who could pass for white, and so do black people. We have the same things, the same issues, the colorism amongst ourselves. So we can't deny that this shit is not real, because it is. It's happening. It happened. It's been happening. And what's unfortunate is now that we're supposed to be past that And we should be a little more educated now. It's not showing because sometimes it spews out. And I know that there's good people saying shit that they don't mean it when they say it in the manner in which it gets perceived, but that's what's happening. Not everyone is going to see things and hear things and process it the way I do to filter out what you mean. So I'm just putting it out there. Even the black dudes that they say certain things, it comes off racist sometimes. And like I said, I'm using Devin Haney's situation, although I understand what it's based on and how it is based on a factual and a creditable argument. Because Devin Haney is a victim of racism in boxing. But I don't like that it's being tied into the achievement that Teofimo has just accomplished, because I know that Devin Haney was robbed of an opportunity that he deserved, but we're going to go into the history of it right now at this moment so I can explain my position. Because I fucks with Devin Haney. I really like him. Pardon the creakiness of my table. But yeah, I don't got all the fancy mic and the whole that shit yet. That's coming though. It's coming. So Dev is my dude. Him and Terrence Crawford are two fighters that I like a lot. But there's issues with certain things that's going on in their career that we gotta address right now. And I'm gonna do it now. Let's start with Dev. My man Dev got violated because he won that belt. He won the belt. He won the WBC title, the green belt, right? And he hurt his shoulder, I believe it was. He had an injury. And I think he had to get like a surgery or some shit. So now the thing that was fucked up about Dev's situation, from what I remember from the details, was that Dev had gotten his surgery. He was conscious of the fact that he was supposed to be defending his title. And so Dev tried to get the timing down where he could be available for the fight even after the surgery. But of course, the commissions found the opportunity to jerk another black fighter, strip him of his title, right? To create an opportunity for somebody else, monetarily speaking, they was worried about some bread. And I guess they figured they'd rather just keep Devin Haney on the shelf. I'm making excuses now, be honest with you. Because this shit was racist. But the only logical explanation they're going to give us that we can perceive, where it doesn't come off as racist, is that it's monetary. Devin's hurt. He shouldn't be fighting. We're going to take the belt. We're not going to wait to see if you heal properly. And when you're ready, you come back and we'll see about giving you another shot for your belt. That's how they did him. And that shit was whack. Then Lomachenko, and how funny is that? Lomachenko ends up fighting and winning fighting for his belt, and Lomachenko gets the belt. Here we go with the plan, racism bullshit. This is chess, y'all. This ain't checkers. They knew what they was doing. That was another way to give shit to Lomachenko, like they've been doing when he had his second professional career fight. He got a title shot. And I understand why. This is why a lot of black people that are boxing fans feel some kind of way about what's going on with Teofimo, because to be honest with you, a lot of them actually are his fans. They like him too. But they don't want to see him giving anything the way they did with Lomachenko and other people, because then that's going to fuck up the taste they have for him. And I get that. I really do. I don't think he should be giving anything either, and it would fuck up the taste in my mouth for him. He's not Puerto Rican. He's Ecuadorian, I believe. And there's a difference. I'm going to explain that in a minute, but I just want to finish what I'm talking about. So you got people that's mixing up the achievement of Teofimo with the opportunities that Devin Haney got robbed of. So, these guys got a rivalry. They coming up together. They talk shit to each other. Cool. So does so does Spencer Crawford, and I'm sure there's other boxers that talk shit to each other. Um, Tiafimo took a shot at Dev, called him an email champ because Lomachenko dropped the belt, as we all know that follow boxing, and took on this fucking fake ass franchise championship thing that these guys created so that they could give people like Lomachenko unfair opportunities. So now, and this franchise shit is supposed to have more, how do I say it? It holds more weight, even though there's no physical title. But if you're the franchise champion, you're basically supposed to be the WBO champion or WBC champion, pardon me. It's just bullshit. It's bullshit and it's not fair, and Devin Haney got the short end of the stick. So what happens? Instead of my man Dev getting a shot at Lomachenko, because he's been calling him out for years now. The young boy been trying to get at Lomachenko for at least 2 years. But so is Teofimo. And I'm just being fair. I believe to a degree, because I do believe that it was more beneficial monetarily for them to allow Teofimo to fight Lomachenko than Devin Haney. And yes, I do believe Devin Haney would have fucked Lomachenko up, but they didn't fight. So one will never know. We can only speculate. But we could see that the style of fighting that Lomachenko tries to avoid is the one that Devin Haney is mastering right now. They don't like fighting slick black fighters. Okay? So boxers that have great footwork, know how to move very fast, and still consist of power and IQ in the ring. He wants to sell his brand as the Matrix and all this other bull crap. And so, yeah, he ducked Dev. Definitely ducked him. Now, Timo getting the opportunity over Dev to fight Lomachenko instead of us seeing the proper thing happen. To me, it's like Teofimo was smart when he cut the line, because they both was neck and neck on the line trying to get to the same meal. And somehow, some way, Teofimo got the lunch lady's attention. And she said, come here. And that's what happened with Lomachenko. I think that Teofimo made it a lot more personal, and Lomachenko thought he could beat him and underestimated him. And he said, I'm going to fuck this young boy up because he keep disrespecting me. But couldn't deal with the kid. I think that the same result would have happened with Devin Haney. I'm not going to lie. But I just don't like that people, because anything can happen until you see something transpire. Anything can happen. We don't even know if Devin Haney can take a punch. I have to say that. Devin has not been in the ring. Right now, Teofimo has 2 fighters on his resume that eclipse anything that Devin has achieved so far, even getting his belt. I think that Richard Comey was a very, very, how do I say it? A nice way to judge just how good Teofimo was when he won his belt. To see how much talent and potential he really had. And then Lomachenko has solidified that Teofimo is more than just a good fighter. And I think Devin Haney's pissed because he wanted the chance to prove that. And he's ready to prove that. But he hasn't fought any fighter on those guys' level yet. And we don't know, because Devin hasn't even been touched. We see now Teofimo can take a punch. We've seen Teofimo outsmart one of the smartest fighters in boxing. Somebody ranked pound for pound for #1 fighter in the world for a while, whether it was deserved or not. There were people that believed that. So there's a lot of stuff that makes Devin Haney's fans' argument fair, but it's just whack the way they're going about it, because they're trying to, clout chase or shit on Teofimo's achievement and his shine, and that's not cool. But once again, because there's a better way you could do it, and that's demand. That is for us to demand the unification bout. which we deserve, and which I think most of us want to see. I want to see Dev fight Tiafimo. Tiafimo already talked shit in the ring, saying he was going to end his career. My badass cat, y'all. Never an episode of Phil Facts in the Sports Snob Show without, Sly Sosa acting up. Anyway, I would like to see Dev fight Tiafimo, and I think it's deserved. I think that at this point, there is no one for Dev to fight now because Tiafimo kind of cleared up anybody that they could really, judge themselves or earn anything, any props for fighting without fighting each other at this point. It's just them two left. Excuse me. So, I feel y'all when y'all say that. I hope Tiafimo unifies. But I also think that it's not fair that we limit whatever choices he wants to make his career because of what we want for Devin Haney. That's where I also feel like there's a little bit of a motive behind some of the comments people make. Because at this point, Tiafimo jumped ahead of the line on him, and then he's a few paces ahead of him. He's winning the race right now. It's not fair in some angles, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure if at all Tiafimo had any of the how do I say it? Not that he didn't face discrimination, but yeah, that is it. I don't know if Tiafimo's had discrimination. Discriminatory issues happen during his professional career right now. And I don't think that they would eclipse clearly what happened to Dev, because I just had a whole storyline that shit is not right. But I think that as us fans, we need to utilize the power we have, exercise our buying power, and demand a unification bout. We don't want to see Tiafimo move up until we know who's the best at 135, because now it's two people definitely who are the best, and we need to know who's the best. So that is another way of holding Tiafimo and, people getting their way for Dev. But it is some real shit, because as a boxing fan, it really is factual for them two to fight because they the best. So, but if Tiafimo moves up, is that ducking Dev? I don't know if you could call it that. It depends, man. I really don't know. It's not fair. And this is where the Terrence Crawford situation comes in and Bob Arum. Because we know that Bob Arum, Lomachenko was his fighter, and Tiafimo was his fighter. And like I said before, he could have fed him to him. He could have looked at it like, I can make more money off of him. This is a new cash cow for me. This is new money coming in. That's about to dry up. Then with Terrence Crawford, it's the same shit. They picking and choosing the career path for him, and he's not taking on the best competition. I don't want them to start doing that shit with Tiafimo. All right? I'm already pissed off and stressed out for Terrence Crawford because he's being misguided and he's not being handled properly. And now we go back to this pound for pound list. The racism is crazy in the sports, y'all. It's crazy. Boxing especially. Some crooked, dirty shit already. But this race shit, and it's crazy because they use the art of war and they got people separated when we need to cut that shit out. Mexican boxers, they Mexican fight fans, y'all not white. They not gonna look out for you, and you trying to at least get them to look out for you before they look out for us. All that shit is whack. And I'm not saying every Mexican person thinks that way or fan has that perspective, but we just hear and you can't sugarcoat what we be hearing from motherfuckers that's in the game. Feel me? It's like three parties. You got you do. You got the Mexicans, you got the blacks, who both get used when it's convenient, and then you got the Europeans. And it's fucked up because you know what? We got some good American boxers that they just happen to have, because America's made up of mixed nationalities. So their family ties are maybe to somewhere else, but they're American. Like Tiafimo, like Berlanga, like who else? Caleb Plant. Feel me? There's a lot of guys that it's fucked up that because of these racial issues, they don't get certain shine or certain opportunities or whatever the case may be. And that happens, but it mostly happens and has been happening to a lot of black fighters. Like I said, you can look at that pound for pound list. And right now it's crazy how now that they have Terrence Crawford #1 when he doesn't deserve it. And then we get into the monetary thing. It has to do with him having ties with ESPN Reality Check. Because as much as I like Terrence Crawford, him and Dev right now, I would put them on a pound for pound, but they be in the second half. Word. And I realized that too. Devin Haney is not on the pound for pound list. But I had to do this video over because I did a live today. Nobody hopped on. That's not why. I had to do the video over because I realized some shit. I realized some real serious bullshit. And that's that the Charlos are not on the pound for pound list at all. Neither one. Yo, that's impossible. That's impossible for me to take the opinion of ESPN and their pound for pound list seriously ever again. Ever. I will never, ever, ever refer to that shit. This is the last time and the only time that they're going to get shine from me, or I'm going to even consider that shit matters, because I watched Fanon, I watched Blue Blood, shout out to both of them, and that shit really just sparked me up when I heard some of the things they had to say about the topics that I'm addressing right now. Word. Fucked up. Charlos is not on the pound for pound list. Now, I don't remember the entire pound for pound list perfectly, but I'm going to tell you it from what I remember, and you're going to tell me if this is some bullshit or not. They had Terrence Crawford #1. All right? Now, mind you, I'm gonna put this in there real quick, a footnote. Errol Spence has just been moved up from the 5th ranked to the 4th ranked pound for pound fighter in the world to these clowns. All right? So you got Terrence Crawford at #1 over Errol Spence at #4. When Errol Spence's level of competition, let's just go back 2 fighters, is way more difficult than anything that Crawford has done in 147, and I'm a big fan of Crawford's. But Crawford ain't fighting nobody. That ties with that Bob Arum mismanagement, how they controlling people, and Tiafimo, you know, and Devin Haney situation, not fighting each other. But I want to go there with this shit too, because it's all ties together. The reason why I'm talking about Crawford too is because he's ranked #1 over Errol Spence at 4. Nah, he could be on the list, but like I said, it got to be like the second half, maybe 5, but not anything past 5, because his activity has been garbage, and he's my dude. Devin Haney could be ranked right under him at 6, but that's the highest that either one of them should be. You can argue about their positionings amongst each other between them two, but right now they both need to put in more work and get some better opponents going on. Now, the people, all right, finish the list. Canelo Alvarez is 2nd. Same thing I'm saying about Terrence Crawford, I'm saying about Canelo Alvarez. There's no way he's ranked past Errol Spence. I don't know if you want to put him over Crawford or behind him. I don't know if you want to put him over Devin Haney or behind him, but I know he don't belong at #2. You got Monster and Away. You know who that is? You seen him fight? And I ain't talking about no clips from YouTube, because that nigga is overseas, and I never seen him before. I keep hearing about his name, and that's recently. What work he put in? Who is he? Okay, I go and I watch YouTube. How the fuck is he ranked higher than Errol Spence? my gas face. All right? Fuck out of here. They get the gas face on that one. You got Monster anyway, Canelo Alvarez, and Jamal and Terrence Crawford. I keep saying Jamal Crawford. Pardon me, y'all. That's the Knicks fan in me. You have Terrence Crawford and the other two gentlemen ranked higher than Errol Spence. Wait. Let me finish this fucking list. So we got Spence at 4. You got Teofimo at 5. How? I don't know, bro. Teofimo should be on the list, just not where. I don't know. But if I'm saying Devin Haney and Crawford is neck and neck, then that means you're gonna have to put Teofimo either in front of, in front of Devin Haney, or put him in front of Crawford and Haney. But there's no way that, that's crazy. All right, so he's 5. So I don't know if he should be ranked that high at all, basically, is what I'm saying. I like Teofimo like a motherfucker. Y'all just heard me cop a plea for his case on some of the shit that I think that's unfair. But there's no way. I don't give a fuck if he beat their number 1 ranked fighter, because that nigga wasn't really number 1. Teofimo should not be ranked 5th. He got to go down that list. Then they had, I don't know if it's Alexander Pulev was fucking 6th or 7th. Yeah, I don't know what that is in the background, y'all. Pardon me. Somebody using a lawnmower and that shit sound crazy. Or they using a power drill. Pardon me. Live in a house. I got neighbors that be doing shit to their cribs. Anyway, so they had Pulev. Who else they had? I forgot, man. Rosado is like 9th for a guy who's 8. And then Triple G. All right, sorry for the fucking brain fart on camera, but I was really trying to get the list and the distraction threw me off. But either way, all that shit is wrong. All that shit ain't true. Yo, newsflash, 27 minutes and 20 seconds. Yo, how the fuck are the Charlos not on that pound for pound list? How is it not Errol Spence or one of the Charlos or both of the Charlos and Errol Spence? Whatever. Those are the 3 best fighters in boxing right now. They are fighting the highest level of competition. Crawford, Canelo, Monster, Lopez, none of them belong in front of the 3 gentlemen who deserve to be ranked higher than what they are. This is why I say after that you got to start getting to Crawford, Haney, and all that. Because, the first 3 is already taken. And 2 of them is not on the list. This list is bogus. This list is not anything that comes from the eyes or the heart of a true boxing fan. This list is strictly business, and it's business that benefits ESPN. And that's the bottom line. The last thing I want to talk about before I OD and go too far is the fact that, back to Devin Haney, because I told you all of this is tied together. Back to Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and this racism shit. Yo, how the fuck Lomachenko is making excuses when he's on video saying he had the best training camp ever in his career and he was healthy as an ox? He said out his own mouth. And now his dad is trying to, no disrespect to his dad, and I get it that you're trying to protect your son and all y'all hard work, but you should have taught him how to fight off the back foot, buddy. Because that game plan y'all had, it failed. And it's not the first time. So y'all out of here. No excuses. Unacceptable. Gotta go. See ya. That leads to the excuses and you want a rematch and all this shit. Fuck out of here. How you gonna get a rematch before Devin Haney gets a shot and we could get a unified? He don't even deserve. Yo, his record is 14-2, y'all. 14-2. Which leads me to another point that I had, is that How my man Bologna is not on that pound for pound list either. If you got Lomachenko on that pound for pound list with 14-0, 14-2, my man Bologna is 15-0, all knockouts before the third round. I believe all of them are by the second round. Why he's not on pound for pound? Jerome Boots Ennis record, I believe, is very similar, the numbers wise, to Lomachenko as far as how many fights he had. And I think he has more fights than Lomachenko too as a pro. How's he not on the pound for pound list? So you see, right now already for me, if you're gonna do it the way y'all doing it, Bologna and yeah, Bologna belongs up there somewhere too. That means that Triple G and Lomachenko, and definitely not Monster Inoue. Monster Inoue is not a better fighter than Bologna. He's not a better fighter than he don't belong on that list, man. That's all about money. I gotta stop. Word. Shit is whack. Alright, y'all. My last thing, man. Real quick. My nigga Bologna, he needs to be on that list, y'all. And as far as the Lomachenko Teofimo situation and the Devin Haney situation, Devin Haney and Teofimo should be next. We need to demand that fight, make them make it, and get what we deserve to see. And Lomachenko does not deserve a shot. He doesn't deserve a rematch for more than one reason. Between his record, the way he lost, whether he was a champ or not, he put a no rematch clause in there. And then for real, on some karma shit, the bitch ass nigga never gave Gary Russell a rematch. He been running from Gary Russell ever since they stole that fight from Gary Russell. Gary Russell beat him. He should really be 13-3. But because Gary Russell didn't give a dominant performance like we used to, we bite our lip. And this is why that's the start of the black boxing fans starting to really feel it. Starting to really, really start to feel this racism shit. And because it started getting blatant. All right, the way Lomachenko started slow, so did Gary Russell in that fight. And mind you, Gary Russell was weight drained. And he dropped Lomachenko late in the fight. He should have won. I watched that fight, and I don't think that if it wasn't a draw, I don't see how they just picked Lomachenko as the unanimous decision. That was crazy. That was whack. And that just goes to show you that if a black fighter doesn't fight a certain way, he doesn't have a fair chance in reality. If he does something exceptional and out of the ordinary, that shit can be held against him if he doesn't live up to the standard. Lomachenko didn't live up to his standard in his show, and it's not the first time. I don't think he deserves a rematch at all. Like I said, if Gary Russell couldn't get a rematch from Lomachenko after all these years later, then, hey, retire, buddy. Because by the time you do get a rematch that you deserve, I think you're going to get worse results. So, the ride, you had a nice run. They gave you a lot. Go back to your country and enjoy your spoils, brother. But there's new blood here. And you got old bad blood you need to take care of. You need to fight Gary Russell, motherfucker. Prove yourself. Prove you earn that shit. And then let Dev and Teofimo fight. And then, like Gary Russell said, right after that, let Lomachenko fight Gary Russell. And then after Dev and Teofimo fight, let Gary Russell, the winner of the Lomachenko fight, could step up and fight whoever is the unified champion. That's my solution. And with that, I'm out of here. Because I got it like that. Peace.